So let's go ahead and take a look at the examples now that match our adding and subtracting integer rules that we've just seen. As you can see, the first block of questions, the first 5 questions are addition questions, and then the second 5 questions are subtraction questions. So in those 5 subtraction questions, we're going to change those into adding the opposite, and then they'll all be addition problems, so we'll use those same rules that we just saw. So let's start off with negative 51 plus negative 9. Now again, when numbers have the same sign, what we do is we add them together. Don't worry about the signs. So I've got 51 and 9, that goes together to make 60. And then when they have the same sign, whatever sign is in the problem gets attached to the result. So since both of these numbers are negative, my answer has to be negative as well. So my final solution is negative 60. 27 plus negative 6. Well, now I have different signs, a positive and a negative. And the rule said when I have different signs, I am to subtract. Again, ignore the signs, but you're always going to do big minus small. That's not necessarily always in the order the question is presented. Just do big minus small. Well, 27 minus 6 is 21. Now I have to figure out the signs. Remember, the sign, when we have mixed signs, is from the number with the largest absolute value. So when I compare 27 and negative 6, 27 has the greatest absolute value. 27 is the number that's furthest away from 0 on the number line. Since this number is positive, my answer has to be positive as well. So positive 21 is my solution. The next question says 1 plus negative 30. So once again, we have mixed signs here, a positive and a negative. So I'm going to subtract 30 minus 1, which is 29. Again, we always do big minus small. And then to figure out the sign, I look at the numbers in my problem and I say, which one has the bigger absolute value? Well, 30 would be a lot further away from 0 than 1 is. Since 30 is a negative number, my answer has to be negative as well, negative 29. So 1 plus negative 30 is negative 29. 15 plus negative 25, once again, features mixed signs here. So again, I'm going to subtract big minus small, so I'm going to do 25 minus 15. That's, of course, going to give me 10. And then I have to figure out what sign goes on my result. Again, we look at the numbers and say, which one is further from 0? Which one has the greater absolute value? Well, this is 15 jumps away from 0. This is 25 jumps away from 0. Since this one is 25 jumps away from 0, it has the bigger absolute value. So we take its sign and apply it to the result. Since this is negative, my answer has to be negative as well. Negative 10. 15 plus negative 25 is negative 10. Negative 19 plus negative 15 is the last addition problem as presented. But as you can see, what's different about this one compared to the last 3 is they have the same signs. So remember, when we have the same signs, we just add them up. Don't worry about the sign yet. So I've got 19 plus 15. 19 plus 15 is 34. And then whatever signs are in the problem get attached to the result. Well, since both of these are negative, my answer has to be negative as well. Negative 34. Now we have 5 subtraction problems. So let's go ahead and do what we suggested when we started the examples here. Let's change all those subtractions. Remember, we changed subtraction into adding the opposite, which means that the subtraction sign is going to become an addition sign, and then whatever number is after it is going to change its sign. So if that number happens to be positive, it's now going to be negative. And if it's negative, now it's going to be positive. So this first one here is going to change into negative 6. Now it's going to be addition. And since 4 was positive, now it's going to be negative 4. Okay, 7 minus negative 12. Well, again, it's going to change into addition. And then whatever is right after the addition changes its sign. So this isn't going to be negative 12 anymore. That's going to be positive 12. 12 minus 16, well, the minus sign is going to change into a plus. And then instead of 16 being positive, 16 is now going to be negative. 5 minus negative 19. So the minus is going to become a plus. And instead of that number after being negative in this case as presented, now it's going to be positive. And then the last one, negative 10 minus negative 9. Again, the subtraction becomes an addition. And then whatever's right after it changes its sign. So it's not going to be negative 9 anymore, it's going to be positive 9. Okay, so we've changed all 5 of our subtraction problems now. Now let's go ahead and solve. So we'll start with negative 6 plus negative 4. These have the same signs now, so that means we're just going to add them up. Negative 6 and negative 4. Again, just add these two up. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then take the signs of the problem and apply them to the result, which is what we do when they have the same sign. So, since both of these are negative, my answer has to be negative as well. Negative 10. So, negative 6 minus 4 must equal negative 10. Now, the next one's really easy because it changed into 7 plus 12. We've been doing that type of problem forever. It's two positive numbers. We just have to add. 7 and 12 is 19. So that means 7 minus negative 12 equals 19. 12 plus negative 16. Now here we're back to having different signs. It's the first time in the problems that started off as subtraction that we have that. But again, remember, because we've changed it to addition now, it's all those same rules. So again, I'm going to subtract the numbers, big minus small. So I'm going to do 16 minus 12. Don't worry about the signs. 16 minus 12 is, of course, 4. Now, figure out the sign for the result. Remember, whichever number has the greater absolute value, we take its sign and apply it to the result. So we have the 12 and we have the negative 16. Don't go back and look at the subtraction. We've changed it to addition for a reason. Right? 12 plus negative 16. Well, this is 16 jumps away from 0. This is only 12 jumps away from 0. So 16 has the greater absolute value. All right, since it's negative, my answer is going to be negative as well. Negative 4. So 12 minus 16 must equal negative 4. 5 plus 19 for the next one. Well, again, that's just adding two positive numbers. That's what you've been doing forever. That's just a simple 24. And then finally, negative 10 plus 9. Well, again, these have different signs, a negative and a positive, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to do 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. And then remember, when we have different signs, we take the number with the greatest absolute value and apply its sign to the result. So this is 10 jumps away from 0. This is 9 jumps away from 0. So that means this has the bigger absolute value. And since it's negative, my answer has to be negative as well. Negative 1. Which means negative 10 minus negative 9 equals negative 1.